Evil Elite has been a hot topic for last few years. In every conversation about survival shows, the concept of evil editing automatically comes up. However, there is also a debate about what we should consider an evil edit. Some people can identify what an evil edit is and end up hitting the contestant thinking they are born evil. I thought it would be cool to look into both sides and try to understand the depth of evil editing.
But you don't.
나도 모르는데.
Let's take out without villain. La 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 la. La 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 la. Villain.
Before we try to understand the audience's perspective, let's understand why TV channel use the evil edit in the first place. There are mainly two reasons behind that. First one is obvious, to make the show more interesting. Although no one in this world is purely good or evil, everyone is mix of both. Just showing the reality can be boring. People love hero versus villain, good versus evil, black versus white narratives. Portraying someone as a villain and someone else as a savior makes this show more interesting. It draws lots of viewers and their ratings skyrocket. So from makers' perspective, there is no logical reason not to use evil edits. The makers don't care if someone get hate or if they are hated, they just need people to talk about their show. They want to keep the current viewers and attract new ones. Without evil edits, if there were no dramatic stories, the show would be plain and simple and no one would be interested in it. No one would talk about it and there will be no FOMO. How will they earn money if no one watches? They are just doing their job, it's not their fault, it's the viewers who like this type of content. If everyone said they don't like these things, then the makers wouldn't do it. Their main purpose is to serve the audience. Although the first reason is justifiable, the second reason can never be justified. The second reason why they use evil edits is to manipulate the viewer's perspective. For a long time, television has been the main source of news. Because of that, we tend to believe everything shown on TV. We don't question if it is real. If it is shown on TV, it must be real. Also, the name reality show forces us to believe everything that is shown. There are nerds like me who notice every single card and can figure out if it is an evil edit, but for the general viewers, they don't care if it is an evil edit. They just want a mindless entertainment. So the makers can easily manipulate their perspective and votes toward their favorite contestant. After the produce scandal, the makers had to rely more on evil edits. Since they can't manipulate the votes directly, they had to manipulate the votes through evil edits. If someone is affiliated with the sponsor company, they make them hero and make someone else villain if they have nothing to gain from their debut. Even the skin game plays a huge role. Some companies pays the producers to show their tennis more. They don't care if it's positive or negative. They just want people to talk about them. I feel that's more evil. Just to let you guys know, there are also people like me who believe everything is scripted. Everything that happens is because the makers wanted it to happen. So many things have to go right to create a particular intense moment. The full final lineup you see is already decided even before the show starts airing. Technically speaking, I wasn't wrong. However, with time I became aware that this is not true. Although we can deny this group of people, they label everything as an evil edit. Now let's understand what evil edit actually is. I have seen many people say, we get that they do evil edits, but what about their own words? They can't force them to say something evil, it's just their personality. I felt the same while watching Fantasy Boys the show. There was a guy's soul, his word and some of his action weren't appropriate, and even after his debut, he is the same. So yeah, that part is kinda true. However, we have a famous example of Chai Bing. That incident shows that by placing two clips from two different situations, showing other members' narration in a different context and with incorrect translation, you can make anyone appear evil. It doesn't end here. You can make anything seems evil, even a normal conversation, by showing it more dramatically. For example, look at this clip. I will if you subscribe.
Meanwhile,
I will if you subscribe. You should also need to understand they are humans too. There are also some 14-year-old kids. They have to go through continuous training and elimination. They don't know if their part will air. There is so much pressure on them. They have to try their best to stand out so that they get voted to be safe. In that scenario, they have to fight for their part, and sometimes their behavior can be questionable, but the makers blow it out of proportion. You should imagine yourself in that scenario. What would you do there? I don't know about you guys, but I might do the same as them. If I'm a leader, I'll be strict so that we do great on stage. If I get a part and then lose it, I will feel down. If I have to fight for my parts so that I can show more of myself, I will do it. If my friends don't vote for me, I will be mad at them. If I see that because of a particular person my whole team is being hurt, I will tell them to change their part. These actions are justified. It is just normal human nature. It is the showmaker who show them dramatically, and people blindly hate the person. I hope this will give you a different perspective and you guys will try to understand the contestants' point of view too. If you don't agree with me, share your perspective in the comment. I would love to know your opinion in this matter. Also watch this video as the YouTube thing, you will love it. Anyway, I will see you guys soon. Until then, have an awesome life.